Who would have thought that a purple Gen 1 hero would become one of the most used heroes in the entire game? Let's find out why. Hello men and gentle ladies, and welcome back to Surviving the Whiteout, where in today's video we are once again going to be focusing on a couple of Gen 1 heroes, and in particular two heroes that I still use every single day despite having played this game now for almost an entire year. Now the first hero that we're going to talk about is more of a luxury hero. It's not someone that you absolutely have to upgrade and work on, but definitely a nice hero to have. But the other is the absolute GOAT when it comes to polar terrors and intel missions. I'm a 35-year-old man, I can't be talking like that. I can't be saying GOAT at this age, unless I'm obviously talking about an actual GOAT, in which case that's fine. So I don't understand why you're all having a go at me. So let's take a look at our first hero, which is going to be Lumac Bokan, or Lumac Bokan. I've never actually said these names, and I probably should learn how to say them if I'm going to do this, but we're going to go with Lumac Bokan. Now, in the previous video, I focused on passive economic skills, which if you haven't seen, I'll be sure to leave a card in the end screen. But we're going to go and look at his skills, and we'll notice once that banner goes, which is really annoying. This state loves using the banners. Now, if we look at his two expedition skills, you'll notice straight away that both of them are combat skills. But for him and the next hero, that's not entirely true, because one of them doesn't actually improve combat strength at all, but it does improve how fast you get to the combat. So if we look at the bottom skill, the bottom expedition skill on the right there, you'll notice that it increases the hunting march speed by 100%. So essentially, anytime you send your troops out of your city with Lumac Bokan as one of your three heroes, they'll arrive at the destination twice as fast and return home twice as fast as well. Now, even though the skill says it improves the speed by 100%, that doesn't always mean your total time gets cut down exactly in half. This is because there are other hunting march speeds that may be in effect as well, so it doesn't necessarily half it, but you'll see when we show you in a second that it does significantly reduce the time and make a massive difference. So let's take a look at this skill using one of my intel missions. So we'll go to my intel mission screen and we'll select one of the beasts that is furthest away, and we'll choose to attack it. So as most of you will know, when you send out a march from your city, the game will automatically select the three strongest heroes, or the strongest hero of each type that's currently within your city, which is clearly done for me here. And with this current setup, it's going to take 46 seconds to reach the beast, and then 46 seconds to return home again. But if we replace Mia with Lumac Bokan, we will see the difference that this time makes. So instead of 46 seconds, the time now goes down to 32 seconds. That means 32 seconds to the beast and 32 seconds back again. So think of Lumac Bokan as a luxury hero. He's helpful, he's efficient, and although he's not essential, it's a nice option to have. So it makes the round trip shorter, and this isn't game changing. You're not going to be getting any extra rewards. You're not really going to be getting anything else from this, but it does mean that every expedition that you send out with Lumac Bokan just takes less time, and you get your troops back much quicker. Now, the next hero we're going to look at is very similar, but adds something even more important to beast hunting and in particular rally calling. So let's move over and take a look at our next hero, which is Gina. And if we look at Gina's bottom right expedition skill, you will notice that it is exactly the same as Lumac Bokan's skill, meaning once again, if we use her within a march, it significantly reduces the time to make it to the beast and then also back again. And because Gina is a marksman hero, she can be used alongside Lumac Bokan because he is a lancer hero, so you can use them in conjunction with each other. But Gina's top expedition skill is where things start to get interesting, because this is where she becomes vital in the long run. Because once this top skill is upgraded to level 5, it reduces the stamina cost by 20%. Now, if we look at this for one beast that we're hunting, the difference is minimal. It's not a massive difference. But over time, this becomes incredibly valuable when used every single day. So if we go and look at the same intel mission on the world map that we looked at a second ago, we will do the same thing again. You'll notice that again, with our three main heroes, the march time is 46 seconds. If like last time, we switch out Mia for Lumac Bokan, it reduces the time once again to 32 seconds. But you'll see in the bottom right that it says under deploy that it's going to take 10 stamina to send out this particular attack. But if we switch out Gwen now and add in Gina, you'll notice not only does the time go down from 32 seconds to 24 seconds, but the deployment cost goes down from 10 to 8. Now, most people understandably send out all of their intel missions in one go. It's certainly what I used to do for the longest time, because sending them out one by one and waiting for them to return before sending out the next one does take a little bit of patience. But each day you're going to have anywhere from between 10 and 20 beast intel missions. So by using Gina and Lumac Bokan alongside for a bit of efficiency as well, you're saving enough stamina to hunt at least one extra beast a day, and potentially enough to even run an extra Polar Terror rally. And speaking of Polar Terror rallies, so let's go and find a Polar Terror and look at both the march time and the stamina cost. So we'll search for one here and we'll choose to rally it, and you'll see same again. Same as the beasts, it puts your 3 strongest and 3 main heroes in those slots. So you can see with these 3 heroes selected, our march time for this particular Polar Terror rally is going to be 40 seconds. Now, unless your stats are particularly strong in other areas like Chief Gear or Chief Charms, then I wouldn't particularly use Lumac Bokan in a Polar Terror rally, just because the only thing he increases is march speed, and you can have stronger Lancer heroes that can offer better combat buffs in order to beat the Polar Terror, so I'd only really focus on Gina. So the thing to remember with Gina is that neither of her expedition skills provide combat boosts. Remember, they're only improving march speed and reducing stamina costs, so you want to make sure your other 2 heroes are strong enough on themselves to effectively beat the Polar Terror. Now, if we look in the bottom corner, underneath the march time, which is 40 seconds, you will see that the deployment cost is 25 stamina. But if we replace Gwen now with Gina, you'll notice that not only does the march time reduce to 28 seconds, but the deployment cost reduces to 20 stamina. So if you normally call 4 Polar Terror rallies a day, then using this method, you're going to be able to save enough stamina to be able to call a 5th and effectively free Polar Terror rally. And combine that with using Gina for the beast hunting as well, then you can usually end up running potentially 2 or even 3 extra Polar Terror rallies every single day. The one important thing to note about Gina, especially in the early game, is her event that comes around every few weeks called Gina's Revenge. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you this event because we've left those generations behind and we no longer have that event. Now, during this event, you can earn tiered rewards, and all of the tier rewards are Gina shards. Now, throughout the game, particularly in the early part, you're going to be collecting something known as Horns of the Cryptid, which you'll get from defeating beasts and defeating Polar Terrors. And during this event, you have the chance to use 10 of those horns to summon and defeat 10 Berserker Cryptids in order to gain the 10 tiered rewards. So what you want to make sure you do is always have 10 of those Horns of the Cryptid within your backpack, so that if that event comes out of nowhere and you weren't expecting it, you always have those 10 so that you can make sure that you get all of those tiered rewards. Now, just by defeating the Berserker Cryptids even outside of the event, you're still going to get rewards and you're still going to get shards for Gina, so you don't need to save them all for the Gina's Revenge event, but you want to make sure that you always have 10 in your backpack so that when that event comes around, you can always get the max rewards and get the most shards as possible for Gina, so you can max her as soon as possible. Now, none of this is going to transform your account overnight. It's not going to turn you from a mid-strength player into a whale, but it does make sure that you're getting the most out of your heroes and the account that you've invested in. And it means that every single day you're earning slightly more rewards than you would otherwise. And if you can't be bothered to do this, and especially for beast hunting, I honestly don't blame you. It's something that I didn't do for a long time because, as some of you in this game do know, patience is not one of my strengths at all. But if you take the time to do this consistently, then I promise that you are going to start to see more of those valuable rewards that you need to keep growing and upgrading and becoming stronger within your alliance and also your state. And I've used Gina every single day for all of my intel missions, for all of my Polar Terrors, and she's made a massive difference, and I love the woman. Not in that way. Although, so I hope this video has been helpful and somewhat insightful to some of you. There are still a number of Gen 1 heroes that I do want to talk about in a future video, but between this and the previous breakdown, just make sure you're utilizing everything that the game gives you early on to get the most out of your account. And never forget the heroes that helped us get through the early part of the game, but continue to help us get through it even now. If you enjoyed the video, then hit like, hit subscribe, hit those Polar Terrors, hit those beasts, and hit the heights that you were born to hit in the game, but also outside the game. Now get out there and survive the whiteout. Peace.